Drew McIntyre has been moved to SmackDown, and I think that is a huge mistake. But Charlotte Flair has turned heel once again, which I think is the opposite of a mistake. And also, Pretty Deadly are the new #1 contenders for the Tag Team Championships. My boys, yes boys, could be the next Tag Team Champion, so it's a great day to be alive. I'm Ben Allison, you're watching Allison Analysis, and here are my 5 key findings from last night's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. In at number 5, WWE need a plan for Carmelo Hayes. He went 134 days without a pinfall or submission victory on WWE television before last night, which is just absolutely wild for somebody who's as talented as Carmelo. But thankfully that losing streak is now over as he beat Tozawa last night. Now I'm a big fan of Tozawa, I think he is hugely underrated, and I think he gives everything that he tries 100%, and usually he pulls it off amazingly, right? And he did last night too. But he should not be getting a 7-minute showing against Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo is somebody who needs momentum right now. He needs big victories. So if he is facing somebody who, let's face it, is booked like a jobber, then they probably shouldn't last 7 minutes with him, should they? It's just felt like since Carmelo's got into the main roster, there's been no plan for him. He was a huge star in NXT. Everybody thought he was going to be a huge deal on the main roster, but that just hasn't been the case, and it sucks. Post-Mania, there needs to be a plan for him, and it needs to be executed well, because otherwise, unfortunately, he could become a flop in WWE, and he's way too talented for that. In at number 4, it is finally time to push Pretty Deadly. Last night, they defeated DIY to become the new #1 contenders for the WWE Tag Team Championships, or as they call them, the NXT Tag Team Championships, and I am thrilled. I have been a supporter of them for a few years now, right? Their work in NXT UK was absolutely fantastic, and since they got to the main roster, they've done well with every little thing they've been given, but they've just not been given many chances, many opportunities, much TV time at all. And while I've been critical of these 3-hour SmackDowns, and honestly, last night was kind of the same, they just drag on a little bit too much. The one positive has been the fact that Pretty Deadly have gotten more time. They've been on TV every single week, and they've been involved in the storyline with DIY. Now, unfortunately, I do doubt they're actually going to win these Tag Team Championships. But I do think from here they're going to continue feuding with DIY, as well as the Street Profits and Motor City Machine Guns, and they're going to do the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Ladder match at WrestleMania for the Tag Team titles once again. I'd be all for that match. It would be a banger, and more Pretty Deadly, seeing them on our TV screens more, I am all for that. In at number 3, Charlotte Flair is finally a heel once again. Now, after this week's episode of Monday Night Raw, I did have a little bit of a bad feeling they were trying to make her a babyface, and honestly, maybe they were, but thankfully, if those were the plans, they have been thrown out the window, and they couldn't throw them out fast enough. Charlotte last night was back as a heel. She cut a great heel promo. She's one of the best heel promos in the business. I don't understand why you'd make her a face, but anyway, I am finally glad that she is once again a heel. And also, she dropped the yellow, which you guys know I was hugely critical of. It's still in the Titantron, so let's get rid of that next, please. But at least she's kind of going back to her old gimmick now, which she pulls off so well. And like she said, it's been 14 months since we've seen her. She doesn't really need a revamp or a repackage. It's been so long, it feels fresh just her being back on screen. And her versus a face Tiffany Stratton could be fun. And Tiffy's promo last night actually got me really hooked into that. I mean, it is true that everybody called Tiffy the next Charlotte Flair. Well, Tiffy now wants to step out of her shadow on the biggest show of all shows, WrestleMania. But before we go any further, if you guys could drop a like, comment, and subscribe, that would be massively appreciated. Here at Wrestling Republic, we create between 5 to 10 free videos every single week, and in addition to that, we also do a live daily stream 7 days a week at 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern, and 12 p.m. Pacific every single day. You guys can comment along, we show the comments on screen, and it's always a blast. I hope to see you guys there. Thank you. In at number 2, I guess we're seeing Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa at Elimination Chamber. Now, if I'm being completely honest about this, I just have no interest in it. And that's nothing against Solo Sikoa. I think he gets way too much hate way too often. but they've not really built him up as a credible threat, have they? We already saw it, I think it was at SummerSlam, and they were feuding for months, right? We even saw Cody and Reigns tag together, feuding against this version of the Bloodline. And since then, Solo Sikoa has lost to Roman Reigns. In fact, that was his last singles match. So why is he now getting a WWE Championship opportunity? It doesn't make much sense, but also, I'm really not sure what the WrestleMania direction is going to be for this version of the Bloodline. My current prediction is kind of that it's going to be the 8-man tag team match against the likes of Braun Strowman, LA Knight, and a few others. But it does just feel very random, but they do need to find a way to get quite a lot of people on this card, and there's only limited spaces. My other hot take with this situation is, if I'm being truthful, I do just prefer the duo of Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. Them two together without Solo Sikoa and Tonga Loa. I'm sorry to say this, but they are just a lot more entertaining, and I'm a lot more invested into them. Together, the look those two have is absolutely brilliant, and when you add the others into the mix, it just doesn't hit as well. But here it is, guys, the rant which you guys have been waiting for. Quite a few people texted me last night as soon as it was confirmed that Drew McIntyre was moved to SmackDown, because everybody knew what my reaction was going to be. In at number 1, WWE have just thrown away what could have been an all-time WrestleMania feud. Drew McIntyre has hated Roman Reigns since 2022. Seth Rollins has hated Roman Reigns since 2015, and the same vice versa. Punk and Rollins have hated each other since 2015. McIntyre and Rollins have been feuding for over a year, and same for Punk and McIntyre. And McIntyre hates everything which Punk stands for. And Reigns and Punk are in a weird position where they're kind of okay with each other, but we know the feud's coming. And all 4 of them somehow, shockingly, won't be involved in a championship picture at WrestleMania. Which means this would have been the most non-brainer WrestleMania Fatal 4-Way of all time. It would have been the perfect culmination of a fantastic story which they have been telling for the past 12 months. It would have been brilliant. It would have been one of the best non-title WrestleMania feuds, WrestleMania matches even, ever. And guess what? Based on what happened at the Rumble, I bet they're still going to do it, but without Drew McIntyre, who is absolutely key to this feud. He's the glue which brought all of them together. He overlaps so heavily in all of the feuds, he has to be involved. It is an absolute non-brainer. And honestly, I don't understand what they're trying to do with Drew McIntyre, because he has just had an absolutely fantastic year. Fantastic. He has done so well. And now suddenly, he's not getting that moment which he deserves. I mean, hey, maybe he'll win the Chamber. Maybe he'll face Cody for the WWE Championship in the main event. If that's the case, then yeah, that's fine for him. But from a storyline perspective, it's the Fatal 4-Way which makes sense. And also, I don't think it's Cody versus McIntyre they're even doing anyway. I think it's me Cody versus Orton still. But what are they doing with McIntyre? I'll tell you what they're probably doing. A match with Damian Priest, because that's what they've been teasing the past few weeks, and I have zero interest in it. It frustrates me, as I've been such a fan of this storyline. It has been so good, fantastic. And now it's all just been chucked down the drain. There we are. There's the rant everybody wanted from me on it. I mean, I feel for McIntyre, man. But now all that's over and done with, here are my pros and cons from last night's SmackDown in 60 seconds. The crowd still loves Jey Uso and the Yeet Festival continued. Bianca Belair's KO Dion Pip and Niven looked insanely good. Pretty Deadly beat DIY and seemingly are finally getting their push. The men's Elimination Chamber triple threat match was fun. Alexa looked great in her singles return. Charlotte Flair is a heel once again, and the main event was fun. But now for the cons. Drew McIntyre was drafted to SmackDown and away from all his key storylines heading into WrestleMania. What? Melo took 7 minutes to beat Tozawa in a time where he desperately needs good wins. Again, what? And honestly, I have no interest in seeing Cody versus Solo Sikoa again, and it looks like we're getting that at Elimination Chamber. But overall, I still would say this was one of the better 3-hour SmackDown so far. In fact, maybe the best. So I'll give it a decent rating. It did still drag, but it was a fun episode overall. These 60-second summaries are honestly testing my breath capacity. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. And let me know what you agree or disagree with me on the comments. And I will be back on Tuesday for another Allison Analysis. I'm taking a day off on Monday. But I hope to see you guys then. Pa 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 pa. Peace.